The distress call. Commander Maya Chen stood at the command center of the EDF Resilience, her posture rigid as she gazed at the holographic display of the Orion Arm. The Earth Defense Fleet's flagship represented humanity's boldest statement in the interstellar community, a vessel built not just with human ingenuity, but with the harsh lessons of evolution on a death world. Humans had only joined the galactic stage 15 years ago, and the other species still viewed them with a mixture of fear and fascination. "Commander, we're picking up a signal," Lieutenant Aden Okafor said, his fingers dancing across the neural interface of his station. "It's not on any recognized council frequencies." Chen moved to his station, her dark eyes narrowing. "Source: the Cygnus Reach, specifically from the Veridan system, about 30 light-years from our position." Okafor looked up at her. "It's repeating a mathematical sequence. Prime numbers, then Fibonacci. Classic first contact protocol." "The Veridan system is under Class 7 quarantine," said Commander Ishida, Chen's second-in-command. His face remained impassive, but his tone carried concern. "Council law prohibits any contact without authorization." Chen's mouth tightened into a thin line. "Play it." A series of pulses filled the command center, their rhythm unmistakable even to those without signal training. Among the mathematical patterns was embedded a simple message that needed no translation. "Help." Why would a quarantine system be sending a distress call? Chen wondered aloud. The main communication screen flickered, revealing the scaled face of Ambassador Xorish, the Galactic Council's representative to Earth. His reptilian features were carefully arranged in what passed for a diplomatic expression among the Karak species. "Commander Chen," Xorish's voice was smooth. "Our monitoring stations have detected your proximity to the Veridan system and your reception of unauthorized signals. I must remind you that the quarantine is in place for the protection of both the inhabitants and the wider galactic community." Chen met the ambassador's gaze steadily. "With respect, Ambassador, distress signals override standard quarantine protocols under Section 12 of the Galactic Charter that Earth signed." Xorish's secondary eyelids flicked across his eyes, a tell Chen had learned indicated annoyance in Karak's body language. "The situation is complex, Commander. The Veridan species is undergoing a delicate evolutionary transition. Any external interference could prove catastrophic. The Council's Science Directorate has the matter well in hand. Then you won't mind if we conduct a wellness check, as per humanitarian provisions." "That would be most unwise." Xorish's voice hardened. "The Council has dispatched specialized vessels already. Your involvement is neither necessary nor welcome." "This is not a suggestion, Commander Chen. Disregard for Council directives could jeopardize Earth's standing." After the transmission ended, Ishida moved to Chen's side. "He's hiding something." "Agreed." Chen turned to her navigation officer. "Lieutenant Rossi, plot a course to the Veridan system. Maximum stealth protocols." Ishida raised an eyebrow. "The Council won't be pleased. The Council can file a complaint after we've confirmed no one needs our help." Chen's eyes hardened. "If there's nothing wrong, we'll apologize for the misunderstanding. But that signal was clear. Someone's asking for help, and I won't ignore it because of politics." "That's why the crew follows you," Ishida said quietly. "Even the aliens never quite understand what makes humans different." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "They call Earth a death world, expecting us to be savage brutes. They never consider that surviving on such a planet required cooperation more than competition." 6 hours later, the Resilience dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Veridan system, sensors sweeping the area with passive scans designed to minimize their signature. "Report," Chen ordered. 3 Council vessels in orbit around the 4th planet. Veridan Prime, Okafor reported. "They're Science Directorate ships, but their energy signatures don't match standard research vessels. They're running weapons hot." Chen frowned. Why would research vessels have military-grade weapons systems? "Commander," called Lieutenant Harper from the communication station, "I've isolated the source of the distress signal. It's coming from a settlement on the northern continent of Viridon Prime. Any response to our hails? Nothing from the Council ships. They're either ignoring us or haven't detected us yet. However, Harper looked up, surprise evident in her expression. I'm receiving a direct transmission from the surface. It's using our communication protocols. They've adapted to our frequencies. On screen, Chen ordered. The view screen flickered, revealing a gaunt, silver-skinned humanoid with large, luminescent eyes that seemed to glow from within. The being's body was marked with what appeared to be geometric patterns that pulsed with a soft blue light. You came. The being spoke in halting but clear English. We did not believe anyone would answer. I'm Commander Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. We received your distress call. Who am I speaking with? I am Elder Serene of the Viridon Collective. The being's voice strengthened. You must leave immediately. The Council will punish you for coming here, and they will kill more of us for contacting you. Kill. Chen leaned forward. Elder Serene, what's happening on your world? Serene's luminescent eyes dimmed. We were peaceful, advanced in biological sciences, but new to stellar travel. The Council claimed we needed protection, guidance. We welcomed them. A tremor ran through Serene's slender form. Then they discovered our bioharmonic crystals. Bioharmonic crystals, Ishida murmured. Living crystals, Serene explained. Grown within our sacred groves, they form a symbiotic relationship with our people. They enhance cognitive function, store vast amounts of information, and they can interface directly with organic neural systems. Understanding dawned on Chen. The perfect organic computer. The Council demanded access. When our assembly refused, they declared us developmentally unstable, implemented protective quarantine, began harvesting crystals by force. Serene's voice broke. Those who resist are eliminated as evolutionary regression specimens. Chen's jaw tightened. How many of your people have they killed? Thousands. Our population centers are under martial control. They take our children to education centers. We never see them again. Serene leaned closer to whatever communication device they were using. We intercepted your broadcasts, learned your languages. Earth is called a death world by the Council. They fear you. That is why we called to you specifically. The bridge fell silent as the implication sunk in. The Council, the supposed benevolent guiding force of galactic civilization, was systematically exploiting and eliminating a species for their biological resources. Incoming transmission from the Council vessels, Harper announced, breaking the silence. They've detected us. Elder Serene, we need to end this transmission for your safety, Chen said quickly. Can you send us your location coordinates and any evidence you have of these atrocities? Already done, Commander. Serene's eyes gleamed with desperate hope. Will you help us? Chen met the alien's gaze without hesitation. Yes, that's what humans do. As Serene's image faded, the scaled face of a Carax officer replaced it. Unlike Ambassador Xoresh's diplomatic veneer, this Carax made no attempt to hide his contempt. EDF vessel, you have violated a Class 7 quarantine zone. Power down your systems and prepare to be escorted from the system immediately. Chen stood straight, her voice level. This is Commander Chen of the EDF Resilience. We responded to a distress call, as is our right and obligation under the Charter. There is no distress situation here, Commander. The Viridon are under Council protection during a sensitive developmental phase. Is that what you call genocide now? A sensitive developmental phase. Chen's voice was ice. We've received evidence of systematic exploitation and murder of Viridon citizens by Council forces. The Carax officer's secondary eyelids flicked rapidly. These are internal Council matters that primitives from a death world couldn't possibly understand. The complexity of guiding emerging species requires difficult decisions. We understand perfectly. Chen cut him off. We're transmitting our evidence to Earth Command and all Council member worlds simultaneously. The quarantine excuse ends today. The Carax's scales darkened with rage. You will regret this interference. Council reinforcements are already en route. Power down and surrender, or we will fire upon your vessel. Chen ended the transmission and turned to her crew. Battle stations. Lieutenant Harper, make sure that evidence reaches every corner of known space. Commander Ishida, prepare a landing team. We're going to evacuate as many Veridan civilians as we can before reinforcements arrive. The Council vessels are powering weapons, Okafor reported calmly. Chen's gaze returned to the view screen, where the 3 Council ships were now moving to intercept them. So the mask finally drops, she murmured. Let's show them what Deathworlders are really capable of. Deathworlders unleashed. The Council ships moved into attack formation, their sleek hulls gleaming under the light of Veridan's sun. On the bridge of the Resilience, Commander Chen watched them with the calculated patience of a predator. They're charging weapons, Lieutenant Okafor reported. Plasma cannons and graviton disruptors. Chen nodded. Standard intimidation tactics. They expect us to stand down. She turned to her communications officer. Lieutenant Harper, open a channel to Earth Command. Priority Alpha. Channel open. Commander. Admiral Kazuo Takahashi's weathered face appeared on screen, his expression grim. We've received your transmission, Commander. The evidence is disturbing. We're facing 3 Council vessels with more on the way, Chen reported. Request permission to engage in defense of the Veridan people. There was a brief pause. Admiral Takahashi's eyes reflected the weight of the decision. The Security Council has reviewed your evidence. The Veridan situation constitutes a clear violation of galactic humanitarian law. His voice hardened. Permission granted. The 5th and 7th fleets are already en route to your position. ETA 4 hours. Thank you, Admiral. One more thing, Commander. Takahashi leaned forward. We've transmitted the Veridan evidence to every species in the galactic community. The response has been significant. Several Council members have denounced these actions and withdrawn from the Alliance. Others are demanding investigations. A rare smile touched his lips. It seems we've sparked quite the revolution. As the transmission ended, Commander Ishida approached. Our landing team is ready. We can begin evacuations as soon as we secure a safe zone. Chen nodded. The Council ships are blocking our direct approach to the northern continent. We'll need to create a diversion. Incoming transmission, Harper announced. It's not from the Council ships. The signal is coming from one of the other planets in the system. On screen. The view screen flickered to life, revealing an insectoid being with iridescent chitin and compound eyes. I am Captain Zrix of the Lacarian Defense Force. We have monitored your transmissions and received your evidence files. The being's mandibles clicked in what translators interpreted as agitation. The Lacarian hive has long suspected Council corruption, but lacked proof. We are in-system conducting unofficial observations. We offer our assistance. Chen couldn't hide her surprise. The Lacarians were known for their strict neutrality in galactic politics. Your help would be welcome, Captain Zrix. But why risk your people standing with the Council? The Veridan bioharmonic technology was not their first theft. 50 cycles ago, they quarantined one of our colony worlds for protection. We never saw our people again. Zrix's compound eyes glittered. Today, we take back our dignity. As the conversation concluded, Okafor called out, "The Council ships are firing." "Evasive maneuvers," Chen ordered calmly. "Return fire, non-critical systems only. I want them disabled, not destroyed." The Resilience shuddered as it banked sharply, its point defense systems intercepting the majority of incoming fire. The human vessel was smaller than its Council counterparts, but significantly more agile, a design philosophy born from Earth's higher gravity and harsh conditions. Targeting their weapons systems, Lieutenant Commander Rivera called from tactical. Firing kinetic penetrators. Unlike most advanced species who relied on energy weapons, Humans had perfected the art of physical projectiles, simple, effective, and nearly impossible to detect until impact. The Council ships, expecting energy attacks they could shield against, were caught unprepared as specially designed projectiles, traveling at a fraction of light speed punched through their outer defenses. Direct hits on all targets, Rivera reported. 2 vessels have lost weapons capability. The third is venting atmosphere from their starboard section. The Lacarian vessel is engaging the damaged Council ship, Okafor added. Chen nodded. Launch shuttles for ground evacuation. Commander Ishida, you have point. Ishida was already moving toward the lift. We'll establish a secure perimeter around Elder Serene's location and begin evacuation procedures. Additional contacts entering the system, Harper announced suddenly. 7 vessels, Council military classification. Chen's expression remained unchanged. Sooner than expected. Harper, open a system-wide channel. When the lieutenant signaled readiness, Chen straightened. This is Commander Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. To all Council vessels entering the Veridan system, we are operating under Article 42 of the Galactic Charter. Prevention of genocide. We have transmitted evidence of Council atrocities against the Veridan people to all member worlds. Stand down and withdraw. The response came immediately. The new arrivals accelerated, weapons charging. I guess diplomacy failed, Chen murmured. All hands, prepare for sustained combat operations. What followed demonstrated why creatures from Earth were both feared and respected across the galaxy. The Resilience moved with impossible precision, its human crew functioning with an efficiency that bordered on precognition. Humans evolved as persistence predators, and their capacity to maintain focus under extreme pressure gave them a distinct advantage in prolonged engagements. As the battle intensified, something unexpected happened. 3 of the approaching Council vessels suddenly changed course and opened fire on their companions. We're receiving transmissions from the diverted ships, Harper reported, confusion evident in her voice. They're identifying as Nelvaran, Phobari, and Quill vessels. They say they're with us. Chen raised an eyebrow. It seems we're not the only ones tired of Council lies. The tide turned dramatically as the battle transformed from a simple confrontation into what would later be called the First Liberation Conflict. Species that had suffered under Council protection chose this moment to break their chains, inspired by humanity's willingness to stand against tyranny. On Veridan Prime, Commander Ishida's team discovered horrors beyond what they had anticipated. Entire Veridan communities have been converted into harvesting facilities where the bioharmonic crystals were forcibly extracted, often fatally, from unwilling subjects. Children were being conditioned to serve as living interfaces between the crystals and Council technology. We're moving the survivors to the evacuation point, Ishida reported through the static-filled comlink. There are thousands, Commander. More than we can transport. Help is coming, Chen assured him. Just hold position. True to Admiral Takahashi's word, the human reinforcements arrived. But they weren't alone. Ships bearing the markings of 17 different species dropped out of FTL around the Veridan system, their commanders transmitting variations of the same message. The Council's reign of exploitation was over. The remaining Council loyalists, outmatched and exposed, retreated from the system. In the aftermath, Chen stood with Elder Serene on the surface of Veridan Prime, watching as medical teams from a dozen worlds provided aid to the traumatized population. You kept your word, Serene said softly, the patterns on their skin pulsing with renewed vigor. When no one else would stand for us, the creatures from the Death World came. Chen shook her head. We didn't come because we're stronger or more aggressive than other species. We came because on our harsh world, we learned that survival depends on cooperation and mutual protection. She looked across the recovering community. No sentient being deserves to suffer exploitation. That's not a human value. It's a universal one that some had forgotten. 3 months later, representatives from 92 species gathered on neutral ground to form what would become known as the Galactic Concordat, a new interstellar alliance founded on principles of mutual respect and self-determination. At the center of the assembly hall stood a monument of bioharmonic crystal, shaped by Veridan artisans into a simple but powerful symbol, a stylized human hand, reaching out to lift another. The inscription, written in all 92 languages, read simply, "When the galaxy begged for mercy, humanity answered." In the years that followed, the term Deathworlder evolved from a slur to a mark of respect. It came to represent not creatures of violence, but beings who understood that true strength lay in standing up for others, a lesson that reshaped galactic society for millennia to come. The remaining Council loyalists retreated to the Outer Rim. Their influence diminished but not eliminated. They would return eventually, with new tactics and greater determination. But when that day came, they would not face humans alone, but a united galaxy that had learned the most important lesson humanity had to teach. Together, even the weak can stand against the powerful. As Commander Chen would later write in her memoirs, "They called us Deathworlders and meant it as an insult. They never understood that surviving on a harsh world didn't make us cruel. It taught us the value of helping others survive too." In the end, that was the strength they feared most.